The Curious Coin. Mr. and Mrs. Casanova lived in a quiet, cozy little house in a peaceful village. They had a grown-up son named Lorenzo. They were a content family but always curious about the world beyond their village. One evening, their friend, Mr. Roberts, came to visit. He had just returned from a long trip to distant lands and brought with him stories of strange places and curious artifacts. As they all sat around the fireplace sipping tea, Mr. Roberts pulled out a small, curious-looking coin from his pocket. It was made of dull, tarnished brass and had intricate symbols etched on its surface. "This is no ordinary coin," Mr. Roberts said with a mysterious smile. "It's known as the Curious Coin. It is said to have magical powers." The Casanovas were intrigued. "What kind of magic does it hold?" Mrs. Casanova asked. Mr. Roberts explained, "Legend has it that if you make a wish while holding the coin and then toss it into the fire, your wish will come true." Lorenzo scoffed, thinking it was just a fanciful tale. "I wish for a big pile of gold," he exclaimed and tossed the coin into the fireplace. It sizzled and disappeared into the flames. Everyone laughed, thinking it was all just a bit of fun. But then, something strange happened. The next morning, the Casanovas received a letter with the news that Lorenzo had won a sizable amount of money in a lottery. They were overjoyed and couldn't believe their luck. The magic coin had seemingly worked. As time went by, the Casanovas couldn't help but wonder what other wishes they could make with the curious coin. One evening, as they sat together, they decided to try again. "I wish for a beautiful new house," Mrs. Casanova declared, and she tossed the coin into the fire. Just a few days later, they received an offer to move to a charming cottage in the countryside, much better than their old one. The Casanovas were delighted and convinced that the coin had extraordinary powers. They kept making wishes, each time seeing their desires fulfilled. They had everything they could ever want: wealth, a lovely home, and good health. But with each wish, there was an unintended consequence. The coin seemed to take something in exchange for granting their wishes. When they wished for wealth, it came at the cost of their son Lorenzo's happiness. He had lost his job and was increasingly unhappy. When they wished for a beautiful house, it was accompanied by the noise of a nearby factory, making it impossible for them to enjoy their peaceful evenings. Soon, they realized the dark side of the curious coin. It granted their wishes, but it always came with a price. The Casanovas were no longer content with their newfound wealth and home, they wanted their old life back, with their son's happiness and the peacefulness of their previous house. Desperate to undo their wishes, they searched for the coin but could not find it anywhere. They had forgotten the importance of simple joys and had been blinded by their desire for more. One night, as they were sitting in their noisy cottage, they heard a knock on the door. It was a neighbor who had found the curious coin outside their house. The neighbor had seen the Casanovas' longing looks at their old house and thought they might want it back. Overjoyed, the Casanovas thanked their neighbor and took the coin. They wished to undo all their previous wishes, to return to their old home, and for Lorenzo to find happiness once more. The coin sizzled in the fire, and the wishes were granted. They were back in their old house, living a simple but happy life. Lorenzo found a new job that he loved, and the noisy factory was nowhere to be heard. They had learned a valuable lesson, that happiness could not be bought with wishes or material possessions. True contentment came from appreciating the simple joys of life and cherishing the love of family. And so, the curious coin, which had brought both fortune and misfortune, was safely tucked away in a drawer, a reminder that some things were better left untouched. Vocabulary: world, world, world. Fireplace, fireplace, fireplace. Money, money, money. Cottage, cottage, cottage. Factory, Factory. Factory. Neighbor. Neighbor. Neighbor.